Hi class, this week I am here with my sister Whitney, and she's going to be my student for the vocabulary lesson. Again, I picked a vocabulary word from last week's lesson on the Declaration of Independence, a word that every time that we look at the Declaration and a lot of those ideas come up, is one of those words that we're familiar with, but I'm not sure if we really consider what it means or maybe its origins to better understand its concept. So Whitney, if you would go ahead for me and read this very famous sentence up here on the screen. This is the Clause 2, Paragraph 2 of the Declaration of Independence Preamble.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Great. And that is attributed to?
Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson, okay. So that word that you stumbled over a little bit, unalienable, based on the context alone of what you're reading and these big ideas, and you've heard them before, what do you think unalienable means?
That everyone deserves these rights, and that they're foundational rights.
Okay, so nice, good inferences. So that they're foundational, that
everyone gets them.
That everybody gets them, they're a guarantee.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just look at word parts for a second. So what does un mean? When we use un as a prefix.
Not determined, like unclear.
Okay, sure.
Undoing.
How about unstable?
Not.
Yeah, just
so
means not. It means not. Do we have other prefixes that can mean not as well?
In?
In
possible.
In. So one of the things about this word that causes a lot of people to stumble is they say, isn't the word inalienable? And a lot of people misremember this quote as inalienable. But as I was doing my research, I found that in the original draft, Thomas Jefferson wrote certain inherent and inalienable rights to use in alliteration. And it was in a draft, presumably by Madison or Adams or someone, that it was changed. They cut out inherent and they just went with unalienable rights. The un is the prefix that means not from Old English, and the in is the prefix that means not from Latin. And so around that time, they were still kind of competing in a lot of words. If you think about words like arguable, would you use in or un today?
Inarguable.
Inarguable. How about ability?
Inability.
Inability. So we've almost, across the board in contemporary English, replaced un with in. There are a couple circumstances that I found, like the word human, where the prefixes in and un have actually branched out to be different definitions. So what does inhuman mean?
It's inhumane.
Sure.
Okay.
And what about unhuman?
I don't know.
Just means
Never heard
non-human. Just means non.
Okay.
Versus evil or terrible. Okay. So if we take a look at a very specific and technical definition of unalienable, we'll find that it means it is not capable of being taken away or denied. So you are absolutely right that it goes hand in hand with, these. What are some of these certain rights that are guaranteed and can't be taken away? What do you see in that second?
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Great. So these big concepts that have a, enshrined right here, guaranteed, they can't be taken away. What was interesting, what about the alienable part of the word? What does that sound like?
Alien?
Right. It's got alien in there. And that was confusing to me, and I was trying to figure out the etymology of where that word came from. Because it doesn't seem to, even if you really stretch it of like an alien is a foreigner or an outsider, how that would work. But as I looked it up, the alien part has a French and Latin origin. So the word originally is alienare, and that meant to be sold or to be transferred. And so what was interesting to me, if we put that in this context, that when it's framed as unalienable or inalienable, it's this like conceptual, it's like your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, these concepts, they can't be taken away.
Mm-hmm.
But in the active verb alienable, it really means more literal, like transfer of goods and sale of product, and not, it doesn't have anything to do with bigger, higher-minded concepts. All right. So we have our more simple definition of unalienable as just guaranteed, can't be taken away. What would be a way in which you could use unalienable or inalienable, since we know they mean the same thing, in your own sentence?
No.
What are some things that you can think about that can't be taken away, that are guaranteed?
Nothing's guaranteed.
Nothing's guaranteed.
Nothing. There's no unalienable rights.
Because nothing is for certain.
No.
Okay. All right. Very good. One other thing that I thought was interesting that might be a helpful backstory to remember the unalienable part of that phrase. Apparently, in the Jefferson Memorial, where it's got sort of all of his big block quotes famous up and around him, the phrase still says certain inherent and inalienable rights. So there was still some contention, it seems, about un versus inalienable. Mm-hmm.
When was that monument made in terms of like?
It would have been much later. Most of the monuments around the mall were projects that started in the mid to late 1800s. So, yeah, it could have been a reflection of the fact that the un had completely fallen out of fashion, and that we're back into saying inescapable. Right? Wonderful. All right, thanks for your help.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.